Okay, fantasy football. Does anybody here watch football? I'm getting into football. I have not really ever followed sports or football in any meaningful way, but I wanted to this year because I need a hobby that is not related to content. I need something that is totally different from video games and YouTube and Twitch, right? It's hard to turn my brain off when I'm just watching content that is directly related to my job. On top of other hobbies, like running and whatnot. I do read books. I read books. I exercise, I socialize with people, but I want to do I'm learning Spanish, but I want to do other things as well. You can do multiple things. I was like, okay, I think I want to actually get into football this year. Nerd. You're calling me a nerd because I'm getting into sports? So I basically, this year I was like, okay, I want to try to get into football and follow it. I think that'd be fun. And then at midnight, the night before I moved to LA, I got a DM from Ludwig that says, do you follow football? And I was like, not really. I'm like gonna try to get into it. And he's like, would you be interested in fantasy league? And I'm like, yeah, sure. And then he's like, okay, starts at 10 a.m. tomorrow and it's $1,000. It's like, what? So it's literally midnight and I am packing. And I don't know anything about football for this whole year. And I'm like, sure, fine, fuck it. And so I had 12 hours to learn football. Literally did not even know what different positions are or how fantasy football works. I still don't even really know what a tight end versus a wide receiver does, or like a cornerback or whatever else, or really many of the rules of football. But I woke up a little early that day, like learned about fantasy drafts for like an hour, and then did this draft. And I came out of the draft being like, I actually think I did okay. And then it's made me really, really invested. So, okay, so if you don't know fantasy football, the way it works is there's all the football players in the NFL. So there's like hundreds of them or whatever. And you pick 10 people who are going to be your team. And then however they do in any given week in the actual games of football, you get points for them. So you like draft a team of actual players is the idea. So the team I drafted without really knowing who they are or what was going on, I was like, yeah, okay, this will maybe work. And then I looked at the draft grades. Afterwards, I was like, all right, let's see how I did. Of all the grades, it's like A, B, C, D. They listed me at D- as my grade. This is Yahoo where we did the drafting. They're like, Doug is by far the worst. Not only that, they expected Clint winning 11-3, E-Rob at 5-9, Stans at 5-9, me at 1-13. So this is after we drafted. This is what Yahoo says is going to happen in the season. They're like, you are so bad, you're gonna win one game in 14 fucking matchups, and everybody else gets at least 5. And then they have ChatGPT just write shit about, they just talk shit. In the highly anticipated draft, the DougDoug Slizz Squad slithered into action with a draft grade of D-. It's safe to say their performance left something to be desired. Projected to finish 10th with a dismal 113 record. Seems like Slug Squad may have been moving a bit too slowly. So they just had ChatGPT talk shit about me. And then, all in all, it's clear the DougDoug Slug Squad has their work cut out for them this season. Let's hope they can leave their sluggish ways behind and crawl their way to success, or at least a finish that's not in the basement. Which is fucking, like, God. And so I got so upset by this that I had, like, last minute jumped into this game for $1,000 that I had tried my best in 1 hour to understand how fantasy works and literally all the positions in football and try to form a strategy on how I would draft, and felt like I did pretty good for all that. And then for Yahoo to be like, fuck you, you fucking idiot. Like, I was so pissed after this. I was like, I am going to do well this year. I am going to do well. I am so fucking invested in this. And so I won the first week against Mango, and then lost the second week versus Super, and then this past week I just beat E-Rob and I fucking destroyed him, dude. So now I'm really, really passionate about fantasy football, and I'm like crazy into it. And Brock Purdy is my boy now because I love San Francisco. What is that bench? Dude, I know what I'm doing, all right? I'm 2-1 now. I have a winning record. No Tom Brady. Dude, my boys are good. My boys are fucking good. I'm winning. So I've been shockingly enjoying football and sports for the first time in my life. Primarily because Yahoo was like, look at this fucking idiot. So now every single time I win, I'm just like getting a middle finger to everybody. That's the thing. Like what got me like interested in actually following football is Jared Goff. I like rooting for underdogs. So Jared Goff went to my college. He went into the NFL, and then he went to the Detroit Lions, which is one of the worst teams in the NFL. And then they sucked really bad. And then they started doing better the past few years. And for me, it's really fun to root for underdogs. And then you got Dan Campbell, who's this like crazy ass head coach who talks about eating people's knees. And then they had Jamal Williams, who is really into anime. And so that the trio of those three last year, I was like, okay, that's enough to get me into football, I think. No, that kneecap thing is not a joke. So this is the coach of the Detroit Lions, which is the team I've been really enjoying rooting for. This dude comes in, he hasn't been a head coach before, except for like a couple games where he didn't do well. And he shows up, and then this is what he says as the new head coach of this like awful team.
This team is going to take on the identity of this city. This city's been down, and it found a way to get up. All right, it's found a way to overcome adversity. And so this team's going to be built on, we're going to kick you in the teeth. All right, and when you punch us back, we're going to smile at you. And when you knock us down, we're going to get up. And on the way up, we're going to bite a kneecap off. All right, and we're going to stand up. And then it's going to take 2 more shots to knock us down. All right, and on the way up, we're going to take your other kneecap and we're going to get up. And then it's going to take 3 shots to get us down. And when we do, we're going to take another hunk out of you. Before long, we're going to be the last one
Jesus,
standing.
take the wheel. This guy is such a fucking coach, dude. How do you not want to root for this dude when he's just talking about that, when like that's his opener? What a fucking lunatic. I love him. I love him. That's why I've been like enjoying the sport more, because I'm like, okay, I have like a weird ass dude to root for.